Seen a lot of US and a lot of Cartel, but this time Chimera gets a little bit of love.
Well, in fact, I think Chimera so far is the most played faction in the tournament. I can work it out for you after this game, but the first few games we had a lot of Chimera as well. And in the first game we had a double Chimera, so Chimera is the most played faction at the moment.
I see.
Which shows that they do have their strengths. I mean, they might not have been or might not still be the strongest 1v1 faction, but their mid to late game is really strong when it comes to 2v2.
I'm noticing that just like the last match we saw, Team Kirby Universe is going for that really heavy economy for a Chimera, going double on the oil. So we're likely to see the aggressive refineries out of him like we've seen in the past.
So double bank from Unreal, but he places them quite awkwardly. Like usually on this map you'd like to place maybe one or both closer to the center so you can get those center banks faster.
Agreed.
I mean,
And he's
unless his
got two
goals,
SAS.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's possible his goals aren't to take those first like banks straight away, but then I question why you would go for double barracks.
exactly. And it's also this starting position is also an interesting choice for two barracks. Usually it would be where Zenichi is because he's closer to the center banks.
Exactly, yeah. And we do
So
actually see
it I
Zenichi going for that closer center bank, and it looks like Starkweather, it looked like was going for his closer and now changed his mind and went for the further one. We'll have to
and I
wait and
do
see how that turns
see
out.
Unreal has a pair of SAS that are running towards Darkweather's base as we speak.
The SAS rush is real.
I mean, I've never seen this yet, but considering the change to SAS that allows them to fire at helicopters, this could be interesting at the cartel base. But we'll have to see what happens when they finally make it there.
So, support bay and spear vehicle bay coming out from Zenichi straight away, while the rest of the players are all just sticking to economy expansion at the moment.
Sorry about the music, guys. Turned it down. Hopefully that's better. If it's not, I'll turn it down more. Got the lovely purple salami text because he's shouting at me. Oh, salami. I still love you. I'm sorry. Alright. Got support bay and a spear vehicle bay coming out of Zenichi at the same time.
Vehicles bay out of Starkweather, fairly standard from the early cartel game.
The bank situation right now is pretty much normalized itself. Both players have full banks, except Zenichi is popping some infantry out, his SAS to go and harass the Team Kirby's bank.
We will see those contractors push up from Starkweather. So if you can get a good engage on that SAS, they could kill it very, very quickly and then go and take that
Oh
bank.
yes, yep. Especially if they can storm into that building. The SAS not much for CQC. Oh, he does jump out, but still not good enough.
And that is one dead SAS.
Yeah, no kidding. And the two SAS for Unreal are getting very close to Starkweather's base. Actually, that's a separate set of SAS because there's two more in the barn in the valley in between their bases.
Questionable play
Interesting.
there from Starkweather though. He ran at the bank with only 3 contractors. One died on the way and the other 2 died in the bank.
Unreal managed to pick up a Scorpio that was being sent out by Starkweather, and he's now going to get a POW from it as well, getting a small economic gain there. But he doesn't have a prison, so it'll just be that one-time boost.
So yeah, we are seeing so far SAS after SAS from Unreal. He is also getting a spear vehicle bay and he has got a support bay up at the moment.
And we do see a ninja from Zenichi going into the base of Universe, and you can see the ghost placement for the buildings that Universe is going for that heavy economy expand. Probably going to go straight into Terminators, as we've seen before.
So
Those
yes.
SAS just got taken out by Jackal from Starkweather.
So Zenichi is strategically placing his ninjas to get vision on as much as he possibly can.
It won't stay there for long once that Sentinel turret. That's what I'm looking for. Sentinel turret gets deployed.
Yep. Even more SAS coming out now from Unreal. He's stopped production. Nope, he hasn't. Both barracks still producing SAS. And he's moving
Starkweather
them
does have
around.
several Jackals that he is now positioned as well because of the SAS. I wonder if this is something he has encountered before facing Chimera.
It is possible, and we will see those SAS die very quickly to those Jackal.
Well, Starkweather is taking out Zenichi's bank in the middle with the Jackal. He managed to take out a couple more SAS with his Jackals on the left. We see yet more SAS from Unreal moving out in formation, looking to do something. And we see him queuing up a bunch of Pumas now as well.
Puma's also out of Zenichi, so it looks like they'll both be going for Pumas.
And two Puma balls combined could actually be pretty scary.
They could, yep. But we are seeing Universe coming out with a double sword vehicle bay.
Yep. Pretty standard from what we've seen so far out of him.
It's actually fairly common with the Chimera players in this tournament so far to go for that really Terminator heavy build. I've seen
Yeah.
even heavier builds than this, and it can be very effective because Terminators are very good at one, mitigating damage, because a lot of units right now use rockets to deal most of their damage, and two, in big balls they can deal their own damage, obviously.
Agreed. Alright, we see a loaded Puma from Unreal coming up and knocking out the Jackals of Starkweather. And he's probably going to get these automatics as well because he brought 4 SAS with.
So yeah, very poor trade there for Starkweather. He loses 2 automatics and 2 Jackals and kills nothing.
And now we should see the Puma and the SAS combined shooting down some helicopters.
Although that one
On the
hind
right.
is going to come and deal with that Puma nice and easily.
I see. See what he can do against the SAS. Drop napalm on them, of course.
That works.
Amazing. Alright, I did see a single Puma from Zenichi harassing Universe on the right. And it looks like Zenichi's going aggressive as well, getting the low ground stuff. And it's going to be right next to Universe outpost on the low ground. This is going to be interesting.
So Starkweather
Universe is getting a lot of turrets deployed.
Starkweather lost that hind to 2 more Pumas. However, he now has Scorpios up. He lost 1 Scorpio and killed the last Puma.
Unreal is capturing a refinery and did successfully capture it. Or no, it did. I can't tell. The observer mode is bugged for this. Okay, Starkweather did get it sold in time before the capture. A lot of harass coming out of Unreal against Starkweather, trying to keep him from getting a strong economy going. Universe did manage to push Zenichi out of the valley. He deployed several Sentinel turrets, and that prompted Zenichi to back out of the area. Sold his buildings and left. More Pumas from Unreal moving towards Starkweather's base. And what does he have? He's got another couple of Scorpios as well as automatics. I don't see if he's built any more hinds.
Those Scorpios die very easily to Pumas, it seems. Especially since they're unupgraded.
Yeah.
Those
So the
automatics are,
Scorpios-
however, upgraded.
If the Scorpio's advantage is their range, And if you can't keep them out of range of enemy units, they just become like paper. Autocannon face-off between automatics and Pumas. However, the Starkweather does have an artillery turret in support, so that is going to give him the advantage.
So Zenichi has gone for a kind of wall-off kind of thing, building sentinel turrets on top of his ramp. So that's going to be pretty decent at stopping any kind of push, although we do see a fairly big group of Terminators pushing up now.
Yeah, that is actually a fairly intimidating amount of Terminators to be facing right now. Especially looking at Zenichi's position, he doesn't have anything to defend against this.
No. And we'll see those Pumas take...
That ninja is not going to do anything.
Yep, and quite a few Pumas down so far, as well as one of the sentinel turrets. And Universe has kind of moved out of range of the turrets now, so they're not going to be very effective.
Yeah, depending on what Zenichi does and how aggressive Universe gets here, I think this could be the end of Zenichi. He doesn't have anything else sitting in the base that could even pose a small threat to these Terminators.
Nope.
We do see the bank on Team DDoS side being contested by both teams. A whole lot of contractors getting cut apart by Pumas. It's actually quite a large infantry fight.
And those contractors are going to lose just because they were
Yep.
just a little bit late getting into there and lost a few. Interesting.
Yep. There's the surrender from Zenichi.
Yeah, Zenichi surrendering because he just can't stop those Terminators.
Yeah, there's nothing, like, he can deploy a few SAS or a couple things here and there, but it's not going to be enough to stop all these Terminators. Very well played by Universe. And he's still got a lot of Terminators in production, so even if this were to be slightly halted, he's got to follow up.
And you can see a bunch of Syntech labs coming out from Universe, so he's really just backing up that economy so that he can just keep producing. We are seeing double sword vehicle bay out of Unreal though, so he's going to try and counter Terminators with Terminators, it seems.
Yep. Universe does have another task force of Terminators plus a few Panzer going straight up the middle into Unreal's forward base, bypassing those Sentinel turrets and wrecking 2 of them in the process.
Yeah, they just kind of laughed off the Sentinel turret damage there.
There goes the rest of Zenichi's base, which is now controlled by Unreal. Universe controlling the map at this point with the Terminators. Unreal, he is gathering quite an army of Pumas. It does not look like... They do not have the upgrade, though. I do see some Metal Storms as well. It'll be interesting to see what he tries to do with these.
Oh,
Either way, though,
he just lost power as those Terminators come up the hill past those Sentinel turrets. That timing was awful.
Yeah. Bad timing for DDoS, good timing for Team Kirby. Universe is now going to be backed up by Starkweather Scorpios. And it looks like this Puma force is going to be able to stand up to this. But I still think that at this stage, the game is over. The combined forces of Team Kirby, and considering both of them have been in a strong economic position for a while now, Unreal is just backed into a corner.
So we're seeing those Metal Storms push forward. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to go for an HQ snipe or something like that. Not a lot of Metal Storms though, so...
I will say, though, I'm looking right now, Unreal is collecting a large quantity of POWs, but unfortunately I still don't see a prison out of him, so he's only getting the one-time boost out of him and not the long-term economy. Those Metal Storms, as soon as they get up the hill, there is a railgun turret waiting, which will reveal them.
And that is very unfortunate for them.
Yep. There's automatics standing by, as well as Sherishans. Those Metal Storms not going anywhere. And yeah, I don't see much more that Unreal can do. He's still out of power and still deploying turrets. And we see Universe finally slipping in there with some Terminators at the back of the base. And that's probably gonna end it.
I mean, deploying turrets is all well and good, but if you can't actually power them, what's the point?
Yep. And can we take a moment to recognize the fact that we did not see mass helicopters at all in this game from anybody?
We not even from the cartel player. We didn't see mass Hines. It's amazing.
Right?
Are
Yeah,
we actually
there was a lot of
playing
ground
active
force.
aggression?
Did the meta actually change for apparently no reason?
Well, yeah.
Right, there's
So
our first
something
game.
tells me that was just a lucky game, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's the first game. It goes the way of Team Kirby. We'll be back in 5 minutes. So, interestingly enough, nothing out of Zenichi yet. And there's
Nothing?
His first refinery just went up.
Yeah, there goes barracks. I wonder if it was just a slow load in the game. I've actually had that happen to me a couple times.
He was microing his recon unit, so he was in game.
Oh, okay. Well, this must be the most important recon unit of the game, so we'll just watch this for the first 5 minutes, alright? Let's do that. Isn't this recon beautiful?
Or
So
he has
elegant.
really specific timing and he needed to like start a stopwatch or something.
He did, yeah. Super specific. And it all comes down to this hero recon. You don't even know. This is gonna win the game, alright, guys? Settle in. Settle in for recon UGV cam, alright?
So, interestingly enough, this time around Unreal has gone single barracks and Zenichi has gone double.
On this map, I feel like they could both go double and like dominate the banks because the Chimera infantry, especially early game, is very potent, very potent.
I feel like you are correct.
But we'll see how this plays out and how these hero recon UGVs will win the game for both teams. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like pretty standard play out of everybody. Universe going with his double refineries yet again. I imagine we will yet again see Terminators. Which, interestingly enough, is it works surprisingly well against the Chimera combo. Normally, I would imagine that the Terminators working well against like US or Cartel or a mix because they do go heavy helicopters, and the Terminators are fairly decent at when you get enough critical mass with them that they can shoot down the missiles and be pretty impervious to the long-range missile strikes.
Well, the alternative version of this build, which I have seen used, again, very effectively, is to go for the double sword vehicle bay, but you have enough economy to go for a helipad, or even a double helipad above that, and so you can get ninjas up, and then you can just control the air and the ground with a ninja Terminator force. It's really effective.
We see Zenichi rolling out some SAS, and it looks like they're running straight down the road towards Starkweather's base.
Yep. We see Starkweather heading towards that first center bank. So far,
By the way,
only units heading towards the center banks.
Zenichi's Hero Recon is also going down that road. I'm telling you, this is the game-winning unit right here, guys. Zenichi, he figured something out. This is important. We do see Starkweather heading for the center, and it looks like he's the only one heading for the center. I don't know if you just fed that, but...
Yeah, that is exactly what I just said. Well done.
I'm sorry, this UGV, man, it's entrancing. You do see the spear vehicle and support base simultaneously out of Unreal.
And Zenichi, yep. Zenichi going for the exact same thing. Although, no, I lie. He is going for a prison and sword vehicle bay. So those SAS that were pushing down the center kind of stop, turn around, and then continue down the center. So I've got no idea what he's planning with them, but we'll have to wait and see.
One of the SAS, he accidentally dropped his wallet, and he had to go back and get it.
I see.
So he needed the protection of his buddies too, in case some hero recon came along and ambushed him. You don't want that happening. It is interesting to see that Zenichi did go for that double barracks, still has them, and neither of the teams from DDoS, neither of the players have gone towards the center at all.
So yes, we're going to see quite a lot of bank control now from Kirby, because Universe is also pushing for one of the center banks, and Starkweather is pushing for his second center bank. So that's going to give them a lot of extra income that DDoS won't be getting.
And sadly, in a recent update from our hero Recon UGV, he was one shot by a Scorpio, so sad day indeed. I wish I had taps on trumpet right now to play. We do see a namer of Unreal being fully loaded with infantry, and if he doesn't go to harass any of the Team Kirby players' bases with them, he's likely going for banks.
Oh wow.
He does have SAS, so he will be able to clear banks as well.
So those 3 SAS that were running down the road ran straight into a Jackal and all died because
Oh man.
obviously Zenichi did not notice and micro them, so they just all died to the Jackal.
Well, those SAS, they weren't the Bryce tools in the shed. I mean, they were dropping their wallets after all, so they weren't crack soldiers, unfortunately. You see another SAS running up that road, though.
Yep.
Followed by another one.
Passenger upgrade and then full build queue of Pumas out of Unreal. That passenger upgrade can be used both, obviously, to get passengers, and it gives an increase in hit points to the Puma.
You see Unreal flying all over the place with ninjas, getting all kinds of information. We'll just have to wait and see if he can act on that information.
So
yeah, Unreal does take his bank. Sorry, go ahead.
Universe just hid Sword Protocol and goes straight into Sword Vehicle Bay. Completely unsurprisingly.
I am so baffled. What could he possibly do with this? We have never seen this before. Anyways, Unreal, he took a bank and he put some SAS nearby, but I feel like he could have done more with that namer. I understand he wants to take some economy, but he could have taken those SAS and started harassing the banks of Team Kirby. No problem.
Yep. We see a ninja get detected over Starkweather's base and dispatched of very quickly.
And it did drop a PLW. If Starkweather notices, he'd get himself a little economic boost.
I kind of feel that's what divides the good players between the average. Like, as soon as a good player loses a unit, you straight away see him microing his POWs into as hidden a position as possible.
Yo, that's actually something I have a hard time doing. I finally just got myself to start capturing POWs, but my own POWs, I don't have time for that. Unreal still getting good info. I don't know if he can see that sword vehicle bay. Indeed he does, though. That ninja does have view, so Unreal should know that Universe is going to be doing the same or similar build.
Very big, or I say very big, we see 5 Hinds now from Starkweather patrolling in DDoS's half. They are getting scarily close to Zenichi's base.
I also like that he's scouting forward with a Jackal and a Scorpio first, just to kind of poke around and see what he has and where he can cause the most damage with those Hinds. And looking at Zenichi's base, that's pretty much anywhere at this moment in time.
Yeah. I mean, all he's
You
got
could
up
put
at the
those
moment
hinds
are,
anywhere.
yeah, he's just got Pumas
Oh,
up, and those Pumas aren't going to do much.
I did just notice the Pumas. I didn't even see the Pumas at first. Yeah, there's quite a few holes that he can exploit, and here he goes. Gonna go right for the barracks and the prison facilities.
So that prison facility was built by Zenichi and that not used once.
And
Let
now
me
it's
just point
dead.
that out.
And Zenitsu does bring up the Pumas, and Starkweather doesn't care. He's gonna just pick them off. I think Zenichi finds himself in a very, very bad spot right now.
Yep. And while we did see one game go without lots of air, this game is not going to be that way.
We do see
Although,
Unreal on the right side pushing with Pumas as well. But here come Terminators already from Universe. No upgrades yet, but they're still Terminators.
so Starkweather did lose a single hind, and he has got one on the verge of death. But he still has a pretty decent force there with his hinds, his vipers, and a Scorpio.
Actually, I really like this play with his hind. He is microing away the damaged one and sending it back to base, but he's keeping the full health ones there to harass. We do see some Exos out from Universe as well, holding back the Pumas of Unreal.
There goes Zenichi again.
Yeah, that's all he had with those Pumas. There wasn't really much to do against the Hinds. Starkweather picked a very good choice here with the Hinds because they can get across the map much faster and catch the Chimera off guard.
And that's where I feel that going Chimera as a team combo is just not a good idea, because you're never going to have that strong early game to compete with these early hinds or early whatever you're going to be running into. You can get that very strong mid game of ninjas and terminators, but early game you're very open to harass like this.
Yep, exactly. And the only way I can really see dealing with a helicopter harass is you'd have to dedicate to ninjas and getting their missile upgrade early on. But even then, you leave yourself completely exposed on the ground if you do that. As both Chimera and I don't know. Definitely, we've just definitely seen so much more innovation out of the separate faction combinations, because like when they get their units together, they just get so much power. When one faction goes to help another, you get like a nice combination of units that allows you to just have a bit more diversity and prepare for a lot more situations.
Yep. Interestingly enough, we do see Mass Pantasia coming out of Unreal, so he is going to try and stick in this game and see what he can do. He's still pushing with his Pumas, but they do get run over now by a bunch of Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where he's hoping to go. He wants to hang in there, but I don't see this going anywhere for Unreal, because again, no real significant damage was done to Team Kirby in the early game.
Nope. We do see Universe going for his Omega Blitzer, so he's not holding back.
Oh, kidding. Not to mention, Team Kirby, even though they don't have all their banks completely full in the middle, they definitely took more of the economy from the banks. Team DDoS only has 2 banks total, and Zenichi himself only took his starting bank.
Yep.
Universe's Terminator army just slowly pushing around, destroying the expansions of Unreal. Not a bad idea, because that's going to be the only economy he can rely on, is the stuff that's outside of his base. And that's the least guard. And there's the GG out of Unreal.
Okay, so 2 very quick games in succession, both going to Team Kirby.
Very well
So,
played by them.
yep. That is the first game of tonight done. We will be back in exactly an hour and 15 minutes for the next game. That will be between Team No Pain No Gain and Freedom Cloches.
Sounds good. We'll see you all for that match, which I am actually interested to see what happens.
Should be fun.